Hey, how are you?
Hi, how old are you?
You said what now?
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 34.
Okay.
I was calling in because I see your background. You said God is imaginary, evolution is a fact. I'm just trying to see, how is evolution a fact? That's nothing but what scientists have s- assumed they think would happen. That's not a fact. I mean, if that was a fact, why
Okay.
monkeys aren't turning into humans now?
Yeah, you're confused about what evolution means. What do you think evolution means?
Well, you're talking about how the human race came about, right?
No, I think you're severely confused. Like, evolution refers to genetic changes over time, and that's
Same
something
thing.
we've
I mean,
observed.
if the stuff was changing all the time, why it's not changing now?
It is changing, ma'am. It just takes time. Do you understand that it's a generational process?
Okay, so what has
Not
happened?
power.
What has
It's
happened over the
not.
generation?
It's not Power Rangers where you're gonna morph into an ape, right? I'm not gonna morph into a rhinoceros. This isn't Power Rangers. That's not evolution. We're talking about small incremental genetic changes over millions and millions of years. And that's what, in retrospect, we look back in the fossil record and we see the big changes. But of course, day by day, you're not going to see a change. You're not going to morph into another animal. That's nonsense. That's not what evolution means.
Okay, so where do you think humans came from if God is imaginary? Evolution?
Humans are a species of great apes on Earth.
So why
We
apes still exist
evolved.
then? Why all the apes didn't turn into
We
humans?
didn't come from apes, man. We share a common ancestor about 6 million years ago. If you go
Okay,
back, we
so we,
find that we share, it's like a tree. Think of it like a tree. All the animals on the earth are a branch on the tree, and they all
uh
stem back to the same branch, the same stump, the same origin, but they
okay.
traverse different ways.
Okay, so you don't think that a lot of okay, so the apes, just a pack of the apes turned into humans, the other apes stayed the same. That's what you're saying.
We are apes still, man. We are still apes today.
Oh, okay, but the other apes just don't drive and talk with us. They just keep
No.
to themselves.
And 1,000 years ago, no humans ever
Hmm.
did any of that stuff either. Okay, you're living in the luxury of modern society where we have collectively, as a species, shared our knowledge.
And don't
Hence,
you
it
see? Okay.
expedited the process of civilization. Hence, we have a city today where you can drive, you can go, you can play. So this has bring about the illusion that we're so much smarter than the other animals and that there's this unbridgeable gap between us and the other animals. But that's not true. We do share common ancestry, we do share common descent, and what explains the reason why we're so intelligent is the fact that we work together and we're a tad bit smarter. Yeah, we're a tad bit smarter than the other animals, but we work together and we share our knowledge, and that's what
Hmm.
makes us human.
So you don't think God made us in His image, which is a creator who, if He made us in His image, we are creators like Him. So you don't think that the
There
smartness
is
or the
no God. There
creation
is no God. There is no
creativity
God.
came from God who made
There
us
is
in
no
his
God.
image, who
There is
made
no
he
God.
okay, but God made us in his image, who is a creator.
Can you demonstrate that?
So if you break that down, if you just break that part down, God made us in his image. God was what? A creator, right? And humans,
I
if
don't
we're
believe in
made in
God,
his
man. I don't
image.
believe in God. Look. Can you
So do
give
you
evidence
believe
of
in
God?
Satan? Do you believe in Satan? Are you a
I don't.
Satanist?
No, I don't believe in any of that. I'm just asking you. Can you provide evidence for God now?
You can look outside your doors. You can see how how the world is made. The world is made in a flow that everything on this earth was put on here for us.
How do you know that?
What do you mean? You have crops that grow in the grass, right? You have water, and we're made with water, right?
We
You
also
have the
have crops
oceans, you
that
have
fail.
rains, you
We
have the
also have
sun
diseases. We also have,
that came from man,
coronavirus.
who's also a.
Please stop. We also have coronavirus that kills people. We also have lightning strikes and volcanoes and earthquakes and tsunamis and all kinds of devastating extinctions. Man, if you look in the fossil record, most species that have ever lived have died. They've gone extinct. Extinction is the norm. Survival is the exception, right? Survival is rare. Okay. So the earth wants to kill us. It doesn't want to help us. The Earth is looking to kill us every second it gets. The sun is a big ball of fucking plasma that's beaming down constantly, trying to destroy our atmosphere, trying to destroy our skin. It gives us skin cancer, right? What kind of design is that? I'm sorry, but just as you say, oh, look, everything looks perfect together, we can find discrepancies in this. We can find things that give rise to chaos. So if you're going to use the argument that, oh, look, there's order, therefore God, well, we can say there's disorder. Does that disprove God? You know?
Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're talking about coronavirus, which is also a man-made disease by these same
No, you're not going to
scientists.
spread nonsense like
No,
this
can
on
you
my
just let
life.
me talk? You just
No, I'm sorry, but people like you don't deserve to be on these platforms talking and spreading misinformation. You ought to learn before you come up here. It's not a man-made thing, ma'am. Coronaviruses have existed for thousands of years before us, and they will exist after us. Stop pretending as if you know everything because you suffer the Dunning-Kruger. Learn science. You're vastly mistaken. You don't even know what evolution means. You need to do more research before you come up onto these lives. Okay? I won't give you a voice unless you accept that you gotta learn more. All right, have a good day. Look, there's nothing wrong with not knowing things, right? I'm not trying to shame the guest for not knowing something. That's fine. What's wrong is when you continuously propagate misinformation because of your ignorance, right? And you think in your arrogance you have something good. You don't. You need to go learn more. You need to ask better questions to yourself. I highly suggest that.
Hey.
Hi.
So yeah, I mean, I've been watching you for a while. You come up on my thing every once in a while. And I mean, you've always got the same topic. God is imaginary. Have you ever thought that, I mean, you're on here all the time with the same subject. If that's not atheist, that's somebody who doesn't like God. If you spend that much time and that passionate trying to push people to believe in that there's not a God, that means you do believe in God.
Yeah, so let me just respond here. So firstly, no, you're wrong. I don't hate God. I don't even know what God means. It's just a word to me. I think what you're doing here is projecting. I think you are misunderstanding what I'm doing here. I'm not doing this because I hate God. I'm doing it because I want to help people. So the reason why I continuously ask these questions to people is to get them thinking. I want people to think. I don't care what you believe. I could care less if you believe in God or not. I care about, are you asking good questions? Right? Are you learning? Are you researching? Are you doing the things that require us to become better and progress forward? That's what I care about. I don't care about God. I don't hate God.
How does that help people?
Critical thinking?
No, I
It helps
mean,
people in our daily lives. It helps us vote better. It helps us be better people. It helps us be more tolerant. It helps us be more nicer.
You've got people that come on here as Christians and you're trying to push them away. How does that help them?
I'm not trying to push them away. You don't have to be here. You chose to come up here. I'm not pushing you anywhere. What I'm doing is I'm asking questions that might be intriguing to people, might pique their curiosity and get them thinking. If everybody thinks more critically, wouldn't that lead to a better world?
Well, if that was the case, you would have different subjects. It wouldn't just be about God every time.
Well, the reason why I discuss God is because it's such a fundamental topic for people, right? It's something that people use as their foundation for almost everything else in the world. Like, who they like, who they don't like. It gives rise to bigotry, right? Oh, God, it makes me feel like this person's bad because they did this, or they don't believe in this, or it tells us how they vote, right? A lot of people who are Christian think Trump is a good person or Trump is a good president because he wants Christianity to propagate. There are many spillover effects that come about when you believe in God and certain theistic principles. And that's why I'm here discussing these things.
That's just my opinion. When, somebody if it really was about trying to think outside the box, it'd be different subjects. It wouldn't be the same subject for so long you've been doing it.
I think you're just fearful of questioning more than you assume, right? I think you're fearful of questioning God. Why can't we talk about God? Why is that such a bad thing to talk about?
No, I mean, not fearful. I did tons of research and researched just about every religion there was, before I, became a Christian. And I didn't
Okay, great.
really
So if you've done so much research, what's your evidence of God?
Well, I think at the end of the day, I mean, unless you've actually seen something and felt something or heard something, which I have, I mean, it really comes down to faith, but most people haven't.
So why would you need to research? Look, if you really had faith, why would you need to do any research if faith is enough? It seems like you are making excuses for not having any research. I'm sorry, sir, but just if you have faith in God, I can have faith that God doesn't exist. Now, which one of us is right?
Well,
Unless you have data, unless you have good data and good evidence, this discussion is worthless. And you better
there's
ask
tons
yourself
of.
better questions.
I mean, we could sit here all day and go over scriptures and how they're connected and witnesses and how there's thousands of witnesses connected to the Bible, but I've heard you talk about that before and throw it down. So I mean, I'm not going to go there with
Yeah,
you.
that's the point. That's the
So,
point. The things you're offering are bad. They're shit. And that's why we continue these discussions, because they're shitty, right? The Bible says this. Okay, well, so does the Islamic religion says something. The other religions, the other books say the same thing. I mean, who's right? You never know. And that's the problem. You can't know if you're religious, if you're correct. It's unfalsifiable.
well, I think one day deep down you're going to wonder why you pick the same subject all the time, not different subjects, if you're really trying to, search and get information. But
I think you're just projecting because you don't want to question further. You're lazy intellectually. You don't want to change. You don't want to. You feel discomfort every time you think that there might not be a God. I think you just want to project.
yet you have the same thing on here every time, but you don't have
Okay,
discomfort about it.
and every time people come
I
up here,
mean,
they never can support their.
half the people, it's not about.
Look, the reason why I keep doing these lives is because people keep coming up and not giving evidence, which is a great demonstration of why there isn't good evidence for God. Why don't we debate, that the sky is blue? Because it's obvious. It's not obvious that God's real. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think as far as God is imaginary, I think you mean more likely Christian God is imaginary because there's a lot of different definitions for God, such as like the oldest one I know is in Hinduism,
Okay.
meaning the highest part of the self.
Great. What's your evidence for your God?
Well, I mean, do you think that there's a higher part of the self?
No.
You don't think there's any type of intricacies to our consciousness that we may not have fully discovered?
Well, that's a different question. I mean, sure, there are many things about our existence that we haven't discovered, but that doesn't give you the right to say that it's some kind of higher self. That's nonsense. That's garbage. What do you mean by higher self versus a lower self? I mean, what are these words even talking about? You have to be more critical and rigorous in what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, it's obviously a pretty intricate question, higher self. I mean, you can't just put an exact label on it, but some people define God as just everything.
So God's my shit. God's my piss.
Yeah, God is in everything.
God is my genitals.
He
My
is
ball sack.
It is creation itself. That is what God is in some definitions. God is a very loosely defined term.
Look. I understand you want to come up here and say, oh, God's everything, kumbaya. But the issue with being so vague and so ambiguous is that now there's no way we can, rationally investigate this. I mean, if you're going to say God is everything,
Well,
Well,
that's
then
the thing is,
there's no difference between saying God is everything and God's nothing. There is no God because there's no symmetry breaker. There's no difference between saying God is everything and God's nothing. You can't
yeah,
tell the difference.
that's the thing between duality and non-duality is that is the question, is if we live in a universe with, how do you say,
Yeah, look, go back to the drawing board. Right? I think what you're doing is, out of your ignorance, you're just stuck for words. You don't know what to say because you're just not very understanding of what you even believe. You don't even understand what you believe, and that's fine.
no,
It's okay to not know what you believe. The world is very mysterious. There's a lot of confusing things about it. But if you want to start somewhere, start with science. Become scientifically disciplined because that's going to allow you to ask the best questions. Right now you're asking bad questions. Oh, God's everything. Where is God? The duality. When you ask better questions you can answer, you go step by step. Right? That's what allows you to be more better able to ask the best questions and understand the answers.
hey,
So I wanted to discuss design. So I do see there's some sort of intelligence behind this universe. Yes, it's not perfect, but there is intelligence behind it.
Why do you
And
see this intelligence behind it?
because the way it's systemized, even if you study physics, you'd see that there's a lot of laws that we study. And the fact that this universe is bounded by all these physical laws, then there should be some sort of intelligence behind these laws that created the universe.
But why must you insist that there has to be somebody behind these laws? Why can't the laws in nature be there by necessity? They just are. They're just facts of reality that don't need somebody to be made.
I'll give you an example. If, let's say, we created a biological robot that one day was conscious to a point where it believed that it's a human, and we left Earth to somewhere else, and we kept those robots on Earth, at a certain point, these robots will discover that there is a designer behind them, just by the fact that they're studying the environment and the
Okay,
surroundings.
and maybe one day God will discover that there's a designer for God.
Maybe yes. Maybe there is a
Okay,
designer
so then where does this?
for
So
God.
then where does this end? Does it go on forever? God has a designer. God's designer has a designer. They have a designer. They have. At what point do you say, wait a minute? Maybe nature doesn't need a designer. Maybe if you could just continue with God, we can just say, just continue with nature. And nature goes on forever. There is no end to nature, and things just are. There is nobody doing it.
Well, there should be intelligence. I'm not saying it's someone like
Why?
when you say a
Why do
buddy.
you think there's intelligence? Look, the reason why you're saying there must be intelligence is because everything you do in your life, when you drive a car, when you build things, when you go to work, everything that you see in your life is a product of people doing things, people making things, making food, making houses. So you're very, very familiar with what humans create. So you want to, personify the universe and say, oh, look, the universe was made too, because look, everything we do is made, everything special we do is made. But the issue is that we know a lot of the reasons why the things in the universe are not made. They appear to be designed. There's a appealing appearance of design, but there's a complicated systematic process that doesn't need an intelligence. Natural selection, evolution, all these can give rise to complex entities from simpler beginnings. And that's the point. If we know the mechanisms that give rise to complicated things, you don't need an intelligence.
But what if the way that this designer is creating things is through natural selection
Well,
and through
then
this?
that's the problem. That's why it's unfalsifiable. You don't know if there is an intelligence or not. Both could be equally true. You don't know. You can't falsify it. That's the problem. If you don't know, if you can't tell the difference between a design and a non-design, you can't tell the difference if there's a design or not. You don't know.
The fact that there's intelligence means there's a designer, and the fact
That's
that
question begging. That's a question begging argument. Just because something exists that's intelligent doesn't mean that the universe had to be intelligently made, right? Look,
you can't just create
what exactly about the universe makes you think that something intelligent made it?
the physical laws that are hidden inside the universe that we're discovering.
Yeah, so first of all, laws are not in the universe. There are no laws of nature outside of the mind. In my view, the laws of nature are just descriptions of the universe. So they don't even exist outside the mind. The universe, whatever it is what we are trying to describe, just exists. There's no need for it to there's no intelligent blueprint needed to make it. But I look, I agree with you that we don't know if there is somebody doing it, but how could you possibly assess if there is or not? We just don't know.
We can we actually we need to study. We need to study the universe, act like investigators to investigate this mystery behind this world.
Okay,
We cannot be
Haas,
certain.
until you can present to me an experiment we can do on the universe, any object in the universe. If there's an experiment we can do in like it beeps when you find something designed, then you talk to me. But until that day, there's nothing about any object that tells us if it's designed or not. Everything may be natural. And if everything's natural, then we can't tell the difference between something designed by God and not. There's no symmetry breaker between these two things. Okay?
All right, that's my point, actually.
All right, thank you. Look, these are good. These are big questions. Nobody has the answer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to talk to you about veganism. I see you spoke of ethics in terms of saving the animals. Have you ever heard of the conservation reliance concept?
No, I've never heard of that.
It essentially acknowledges that because we're unable to enforce people's actions, that species are actually more endangered in the wild due to threats like habitat destruction, poaching, invasive species, stuff like that, diseases, and that humans are actually the best chance of survival for these animals. I mean, we're talking like macro scale, long term. Who is the species? Just like you mentioned earlier, every species has gone extinct, and humanity. I would
Okay,
argue,
how does
is
this
the
relate?
best-
How does this relate to veganism? I'm yet to see where it matters here.
superiority. When you put yourself on the same level as an animal, I'm saying that we're way more superior than an
I
animal.
never said I put myself on the level of an animal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you said, well, every time somebody says, is it okay to kill an animal? You say, well, is it okay to kill a baby? That's obviously you're bringing human life and bringing it to the same level as animals.
I'm not saying that a baby is equivalent to an animal in every way. What I'm saying is they both meet the threshold to not wanting to harm them, right? I don't want to harm an animal for the same reasons I don't want to harm a baby, but it doesn't mean those two beings are identical in every way. Of course, I see humans as having more value, but that doesn't mean that the animals don't have any value. I mean, they both meet the threshold for value.
Right, but the thing is, it's like a concept of you seem to like you always say it's akin to racism, the species being a species, which I mean, sure, but we're a different species, not different races. We when we talk about different races, we're talking about people with the same blood, same brain, same everything. So you can't compare animals to humans, is my point. And if animals
We
can
are
be a
animals,
supporting,
sir. We are animals.
we are absolutely. I agree.
But we can
We're
compare.
not the
So we
same.
can compare them to us.
But I mean, if an asteroid hits us in a few thousand years, we're the best chance at helping, saving everyone, right? Species and everything.
Okay, so does that give us the right to slaughter billions of animals in factories?
I think so. Yeah, if it makes our lives easier.
So you're saying that if something makes my life better and easier, I get to kill that person or that being.
I'm saying that even if we were to let animals go happy and be free, we can't control the entire population. It's just impractical.
Good. I think you're misunderstanding. Right now, 90 billion animals are needlessly being killed and slaughtered in factories.
And it sucks.
What justifies that?
The fact that it's feeding humans, especially in populations where plantations don't grow as efficiently as they do here. They can't get tofus like you from, Trader Joe's.
I'm sorry, tofu?
Yeah, I'm giving you examples of like the luxury
What percent? What percent?
compared to somebody in Iraq, for example,
You know
right?
that tofu is made of soy, correct?
I'm just giving you an example, right?
I have a point here. Do you understand that tofu is made of soy, right?
I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know.
Well, it's made of soy, and guess what percent of soy is consumed by people on the
Are you
planet?
going to focus on one concept and ignore my entire argument?
No, this is a very important point, sir. Your argument is that, oh look, we can't produce enough enough tofu to feed all these people. Well, I'm showing you that most soy is grown for the animals that you slaughter. Okay, so 90% of it is grown for other things than humans. So we would actually save crops. We would save land.
That's for soy. What about the other nutrients, the other plants that need to be grown in order for a human population to be sustained nutritionally?
What do you think animals consume?
Oh, I'm not.
Animals you kill.
Well, that's the thing. We do it sufficiently to where they can consume the least amount for the most.
No, sir, we don't, sir. Look, we grow 70% of all the crops in the world are grown not for humans, for animals, because we have to feed them. So not only are we feeding ourselves with the animals, but the animals are feeding themselves with the crops. So why go through this entire process of growing crops and then feeding the animals and then killing them? Why not just go directly to the plants? You're saving so many plants by doing that.
I see what you're saying. But
way less than the animals eat.
let me just trim it down. What do you think is the solution in your ideal world where you're being kind of realistic? I'm just curious to know where do we put the animals? Do we have any laws? How do we make this happen? Because it's extremely impractical. I'm sure you're aware. Extremely impractical to go vegan today. In terms of like on a macro
Very,
scale.
very practical for us to go vegan today. Now, if you're thinking that, oh, we're all going to go vegan tomorrow, well, that's clearly not going to
This is
happen.
us, because if you're talking the U.S., that's different. We're talking the whole world, right?
Yeah, that's never going to happen. The whole world goes vegan. But if that were to happen, we put animals in sanctuaries. We would turn those factory farms into sanctuaries. A lot more people would be more compassionate towards them. They'd take care of them. And slowly the numbers of animals would dwindle as they die naturally of healthy lives. And then we continue on our business by producing crops for ourselves. No more hunting or harming animals.
But you see, it's just like it's almost like I see your emotional side of it. There is certainly. I mean, nobody likes to see stuff slaughtered, right? But there's something missing. There's like, what's the point? That's the thing. What's the point?
What's the point of what?
We're we're quote unquote slaughtering animals in a
What's the point of what, sir?
Well, the point of doing this whole entire thing of letting the animals go free, not killing them anymore here.
We're not letting them go free. I don't know what makes you think we're letting them go free. Okay,
Well,
this
what's
is
the
a
point of
free will.
holding them? What value does that serve us as a species?
It's not serving us, it's serving them. That's the entire point of ethics. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. It's selfless. It's caring for others who don't need to be harmed. It's taking care of them. That's what it means to be vegan.
Taking care of them.
Yes.
I just don't think it's practical by any means. And if anything, it would be more economically devastating.
Why is it not practical to go for you to go vegan?
For me, well, that's different. When you're talking individually, yeah, I can drop by a trader. I'm talking on a macro
Okay.
scale.
So then what is your concern here?
On a
You're
macro scale,
concerned
it's
about
not
something that's never going to happen. Oh, we're all going to go vegan tomorrow. What's going to happen to the animals? Well, if that happens, we'll take it step by step and do the best we can. Nobody's saying that if you're vegan, you have to be perfect. That doesn't make sense. Nobody believes that.
The only thing is just I see what you're saying, but the risk to reward, it's just there's nothing there. What's the reward? And you got to realize
That's not our concern. If you care about others, look, what's the reward
who's
if I
others? They're animals,
what's the
Mike.
reward if I help a baby who's starving?
There you go. You
Gaza.
see, that's you just said that you can't compare a baby to an animal.
I'm sorry, sir. What is my reward if I help a baby in Gaza?
Are you kidding me?
What's my reward?
No, Mike. Do not step on that.
Explain. What's my reward?
That's a human life that can
That's
grow
not,
up.
it doesn't matter, sir. I'm sorry. What is my reward if I help a person in Gaza?
Your reward?
Yeah.
You just saved a human life instead of getting bombed.
No. What's my reward?
Your reward. Well, I mean, it could literally be a lot. It can literally come down to financial gain. If that kid grows up, becomes successful, and repays you back.
Let's say there's no financial gains. There's no financial gains there at all. I just help somebody in Gaza. They don't
No,
pay
they
you.
grow up, they become successful, they pay you back the person that saved them. Are you kidding me?
No.
Recognition? I mean,
Let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say that doesn't happen. I help somebody. They never talk to me again. They didn't know who I am. What's my reward there?
well, if you are human, then you would feel good about saving somebody's life, right?
Okay,
That can't apply to animals. You can't say that.
No, that's it. That's it. The only reward is feeling good, right? Yes, exactly. That's it. We don't do things because we want the reward. We do things because it helps us feel good a little bit, but also helps them mostly. Right? It's not about us. It's about selflessness, not being selfish. That's the point here. And
But you do realize that most people don't share your view on animals in that way.
I don't care. Most people were slave owners in the 1800s. It doesn't make it okay to do it today.
All right. Well, I mean, we can keep disagreeing, but it was a nice having a discussion with you.
It wasn't nice having you here because you're dishonest.
Well, that's
You're
not
not able
nice.
to recognize that the animals, it's not for us. It's not a reward for us. It's not being selfish. It's about helping the others. That's what morality is all about. That's what ethics is all about.
It's okay to disagree. You can't dislike somebody because they disagree.
No, you're right. It is okay to disagree, but you on this platform are not being healthy and just saying, "Oh, let's just disagree." You're not presenting any good arguments, and then when I present you good counter arguments, you run away and say, "Oh, let me just disagree." That's
The
dishonest.
argument is
That's
just
cowardice.
not ideal because we need the space that animals will live on. You think at some point we're gonna need all the space we can get? What do you mean? Like, make them live in us? What do you call it? Farm?
What percent of the planet's land is used for animals right now?
Oh, I don't know.
About 30%. About 30 to 40%. If we stopped feeding and growing all these damn animals on the planet, we'd have way more land for us. If we all went vegan, we'd have more land, we'd have more food, we'd have more water. There would actually be tons of rewards for us to go vegan.
I can see the economic advantage for sure. I just don't think
There's all kinds of advantages, but you're not willing to see it because you're so selfish.
Okay, well, don't call me selfish because this is wrong. I'm arguing on a
you
macro
are.
scale.
If
You're
you
arguing
weren't
on a very
selfish, you wouldn't care about
individualistic
your own reward. Look, if you weren't selfish, you wouldn't care about your own reward. You wouldn't be asking the question, "What's in it for me? What's in it for me to go vegan?" Right? That implies that you don't care about anybody but yourself. Right? What's in it for me? Right? Sometimes, well, almost all the times in ethics, we do things for others, not for ourselves. And if you can't even grasp that, I'm sorry, but you're not able to partake in these kinds of discussions.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So, on the vegan argument, I get that we would have more, the plants. It's basically the same concept as why we don't eat carnivores, because it takes more resources to feed a carnivore than it does an herbivore or whatever. But it's not plausible to put the animals in sanctuaries and continue feeding them the same resources that we would then need to be eating.
Wow. What are you talking about? That's never going to happen, number one. Number two.
But that's your
Oh, okay,
solution to the animals left over.
Look, first of all, it is plausible that if everybody were to go vegan, we would take care of these animals. That's just by definition, we would actually do that.
So we would have to produce
So,
more grain.
another selfish person comes up here and says, "Well, we're never going to help them, so might as well just keep killing them." That's selfish. The point is to correct the wrong we're doing today, and then whatever happens after, we take it step by step. Again, you're assuming that we have to be perfect. Oh no, if we all go vegan, what are we going to do with the animals? That's not a concern right now. Because, look, it's about stopping the root problem, which is this continuous chaotic cycle of death and torture to the animals. That's gotta stop. I don't care what the after effects are. That's gotta stop. 90 billion animals being tortured on a daily basis. Come on. The after effects are a secondary concern, which, if everybody were to be vegan, we would take care of effectively. Because that's what vegans do. Okay, vegans are compassionate. So if everybody were to be compassionate, we would take care of the animals just fine. So come up with a better reason to slaughter and rape animals. I'd love to hear this.
Again, if, like you said, if hypothetically everyone were to go vegan,
I just answered this.
how are we going to supply?
Supply the what? We already supply.
Let me ask my question.
Garrett.
How-
Look, let me explain this to you. We already supply the animals. 90 billion. We already supply 90 billion animals with food and water every day. Every day. Every day, humanity feeds 90 billion animals with food and water. We have enough food and water for the animals, Garrett. That's not a concern. Right? The concern here is you're stuffing pigs in gas chambers and their bodies are burning alive. What justifies that, right? That's a bigger concern than what happens in 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, right? Okay? So go ahead and I'll give you one more chance to redeem yourself.
Again, may I finish my question? You answered the first half.
You're either going to justify
You
slaughtering.
answered the first
You're either going to
How can
justify
we
slaughtering
supply
animals.
both?
That's a person coming from a selfish place. What are you going to do if we all go vegan? That's selfish. You're not thinking about others. You're not thinking about what's happening around you today. And you're not grasping the multiplicity of the issue. That over time, less and less food is going to be required to feed the animals. Their populations are going to dwindle. You're going to need less and less resources until finally we become a better planet. It's not that hard, folks.
Me quedó el olor a rata muerta impregnado.
Hey, Howard.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. So why is it, I assume you feel it's unethical to eat meat. Why do you feel that way?
No. Look, it's not unethical to eat meat. It's unethical to stuff an animal in a gas chamber and exploit their body parts. That's what's wrong. That's what you pay for every day when you eat meat or when you eat those things, right? The point is that there's an animal, there's a victim involved that's being harmed. That's the point here. So look, if you care about a dog, why don't you care about pigs or cows who are being slaughtered? Why don't you care about that?
It's relativistic, you know? Do you care if you step on an ant?
I do care if I step on an ant.
Why
but
should
there's-
I care if I step on an ant?
What?
Why should I care if I step on an ant? What
Because
does
that's a
your
living
morals have to
sentient
do with
being.
me?
Because that's a living sentient being who you just killed for no reason.
So you think all living sentient beings have? There's no reason to ever kill a living sentient being.
There are reasons to kill sentient beings, but not the ones you're offering.
What are some good reasons to kill living sentient beings?
If for self-defense. Now, can you justify slaughtering animals now?
Sure. So the way I see it, eating other animals is part of the circle of life. We have carnivores and all that good stuff. Carnivores, omnivores, etc. They use their.
Okay. William, let me stop you there. That's a bad point. Number one,
I haven't finished the point though.
it doesn't matter. We don't have to be part of the circle of life to be.
Yeah, we do because we're animals.
No. This isn't Lion King. We don't have to be part of the circle of
No,
life.
it's the natural world. We're part of the circle of.
Stop. It doesn't exist. We can be vegan and still partake in the circle of life if you want to. Okay, you can still raise up Simba.
Yeah,
The
when we
point
die,
is,
we're gonna
we
get
don't
eaten by
have to
plants and
consume-
stuff.
We don't have to consume animals. That's not the circle of life. That's the circle of torture, which is what we call factory farming.
Okay, is it torture when a lion kills a gazelle?
It is torture when that happens, but guess what? Did you pay for that? No, but you did pay for animals to be slaughtered in gas chambers. It's your fault that you pay these people to slaughter animals. That's your doing.
It's an efficient method of feeding ourselves, though. Lions use their.
You can efficiently feed yourself as a vegan, sir.
You can also do it as a. But there's no reason that's more ethically desirable.
Yes, there is a reason why it's desirable, because vegans don't harm those animals that you do.
But you don't have a problem with harming animals. You just don't like the
I
reasons.
do have a problem with harming animals that don't have to be harmed.
So you say self-defense.
I love how you're pivoting. Can you justify slaughtering animals in gas chambers like you do?
I'm not pivoting. I'm asking a question.
I already answered that. Self-defense is a reason to harm an animal or anybody. Now,
So if I
can
get
you
attacked by a
justify-
bear-
can you justify slaughtering pigs and cows?
Yeah. If I get attacked by a bear and I kill it, can I eat it, or is that torture?
Can you justify slaughtering cows and pigs and chickens in factories? Yes or no?
Well, here's the issue with your live, dude. You can't be
All
convinced.
right, here we go again. Right. Another selfish person. Well, you don't do this. You don't do this. You don't do this. That's projection, because he wants to see anywhere there's a hole, so you can say, I get to slaughter a cow and pig. Well, no, you don't get to slaughter cows and pigs if you don't have a good justification for that. And you couldn't provide it. But maybe next time.
Hello.
Hey, how old are you?
Good. I just wanted to ask.
How old are you?
15. I just wanted to ask. How can I?
You got to be 18 plus to be here. Hey, how are you?
How you doing, man? Good. How are you?
Good.
So, I wanted to first ask about your God is imaginary question, but I also wanted to know: are you only referring to a certain religious God, or as in a omnipotent being that basically created the universe, essentially?
Yeah, when I say God, I mean like the typical kind of like theistic kind of God, omniproperties, all good,
Okay.
all that.
Okay. I mean, so you do believe that there is some sort of, higher being in a way, but you just don't necessarily choose.
I don't believe in. I don't know what a higher being means. That's garbage. That's gibberish to me.
So what I mean by a higher being is like higher be. So what we physically, everything that we can see and feel and touch and hear around us, I would consider that being like, on our playing field, essentially, like what we can deal with. We can even go to space and land on the moon, whatever. But the things, the supernatural, essentially, like just stuff chemically even, or just like things that you can't explain, things that are not on this meta field, essentially, like when you try to describe metaphysics to people, like that's what I mean by a higher being. Anything above that, you know what I mean?
No.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
So
You can't grasp what I'm trying to get to.
look. What's your evidence for this meta being?
Well, my first argument would definitely be that for anything to exist, right? Like it has to be like a creator. There has to be something that create, not necessarily a man or a person, a being itself, a single being, entity. That's why I said omnipotent.
Why must it be an intelligent creator? Why?
Because I don't believe that there's any possible way. It logically doesn't make sense for like everything that has ever been created by, whether it's a human or nature or whatever, for it to just pop up and be, just formed in that way, and it just turns out to be a perfect operating machine of machinery. Like it just doesn't work.
This is an argument for incredulity, number one. But number two, nobody said it just popped up. Nobody ever said that. That's not necessarily the alternative. It could also be the case that the universe always was in some way.
Is that what you believe?
No, I don't believe what the origin of the universe was. I don't have a belief on that. But it's a possibility that the universe always existed. Is it not?
Yeah, of course. But is it? Okay, but in that same,
how do you assess that God's more likely?
Because I mean, at least my interpretation. I mean, I know a lot of other people's interpretation of the Bible also, like it's God described as him being, like, and when I say being, it's him being, like he is inevitable. He's I just lost the word, but he's there eternally, like from the beginning of time to the end of time.
What evidence makes you think this is more likely than just things existing naturally?
Like I said earlier, I don't think it could just. I don't think there's no creator that can just, like, if you're saying there doesn't have to be.
Sorry, guys, I just couldn't handle that anymore. That just utter yap. But saying I don't know how this could be isn't a good reason to believe that it's God.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Hi. Yeah.
So wait, y'all picking back up on this God is imaginary everything? Are you falling back on the eat vegan and meat stuff?
Dude, whatever topic you want to talk about, do you have an argument?
I have a question on why does eating meat have to be justified?
Because you're harming somebody. There's a victim involved, the animal.
The animal. And because we're doing that, it needs to be justified. Are we doing something to the animals that they in the lifestyle that they're not already living?
We are breeding them into existence on farms just to slaughter. That's wrong.
From your perspective.
Okay, is it right from your perspective to take a being who didn't have to live and then raise them into existence and then breed them just to slaughter them? Is that good to you?
I could say no. More people could say no. Other people could say yeah. Like,
what is your belief? What is your belief?
My belief. That's something that I wouldn't do. I'm against the things that they do to animals.
Then go vegan. Then go vegan.
Okay, and I am working on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. It's that simple, guys. Just ask questions. Ask yourself these questions. Why am I eating animals? Why do I do this? Is it needed?
Hello?
Hi.
I wanted to ask you about being vegan. So you were talking a lot about like the sentient animals, but I'm kind of curious about like the honey and cheese and milk. Do you think that's also immoral?
The reason why vegans think honey is immoral and cheese is immoral is because those entail processes that can be harmful. In the case of honey, the bees oftentimes are forced to produce the honey. Their wings are chopped off. The queen bee's wings are chopped off, and they force them to produce it for them in these colonies. And then the winter comes, they don't care. They just let the bees die in the winter. That's wrong. In the case of cheese,
well, bees only live for a week anyway.
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is we're still exploiting an animal for no reason. When it comes to cheese, the animals in dairy farms are treated terribly. Number one, they are forcibly impregnated just, to be milked. And then their babies are stolen from them, and then they're pretty much sent off for veal to be killed almost immediately after they're born.
So do you think there's any future of like ethical farming, or is vegan the only way for you?
Vegan is ethical farming. I don't think there's such a thing that you can exploit an animal and call that ethical.
Okay.
So what justifies doing that?
What justifies doing that? Our own nutrients. I mean, personally, I believe that humans are above other living beings, like just straight up.
Okay, vegans can agree with that we're above them in certain ways. But you can get all the nutrients you need as a vegan. You don't have to get them from meat at all.
I mean, yes, but like also kind of no. Like there's a lot of important things in meat. We've been eating meat for thousands of years. I mean, you believe in evolution, and throughout all of human history, we have eaten meat. We're omnivores. We eat both. And I think it's important to have both in our diet 100%. I don't just like, not eat vegetables or fruits or whatever.
The evidence shows that you can be perfectly healthy as a vegan. You don't have to eat meat anymore. Even though our ancestors did it, we don't have to anymore. We're no longer cavemen.
Yeah, but our body still has the same needs.
Okay, so what in meat do you need?
Protein, there's creatine, vitamins, iron.
We get that from plants.
What kind of plants provide protein?
All plants have protein.
Okay.
All plants. Beans,
you're right.
greens,
You are 100%
fruits,
right.
Vegetables. All plants have protein.
You are right. They all have. I think what is there? 12 different kinds of proteins. There's
amino acids. You're talking about amino acids.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my bad.
Plants have all amino acids.
Okay. And iron, all that kind of stuff. What about that?
Spinach, green leafy vegetables. Some fruits have it, like oranges. Tofu has calcium. Fortified foods have calcium. Next.
Okay. I got you. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to take your word for it. Like that. Sure. You know what I mean? I don't have anything to look it up right now. And I'm not denying you. I'll believe it. So in a world where we're only eating plants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what exactly do we do with the animals? Are we just going to let them roam?
No, we put them in sanctuaries. Next.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Like on that same train of thought? Because
are you going to justify eating animals, or are you just going to ask me questions?
Okay, so yeah, I'll justify eating animals. Like I said, I believe that humans are above all other animals in form of like, especially intelligence, but our impact on the world, we're above them, and that's a good reason for us to be allowed to eat them.
So you're saying we're more intelligent than them, therefore we get to harm them, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so if I'm more intelligent than a baby, I get to harm a baby?
No, because the baby's a human.
Oh, okay. So it's not intelligence that matters; it's the species that matters more, right?
Well, I mean it's hand in hand, right? I mean the human, even if it's an underdeveloped human, right, it's still going to become one fully.
Well, let's just say this person's disabled mentally; they'll never be smart. Should we eat that person, turn them into a cheeseburger?
Okay, it's still a human. Yeah. Okay, it's a species thing, right? Okay, you were right about that. Sure.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure it's species.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that.
So you're saying what makes it right to take a dog or a chicken or whatever kind of species of an animal you want to, what makes it right to put them into a gas chamber and turn their body into a burger is the fact that they have a different set of genes than you?
I mean, I'm gonna say yes, but I want to like expand on that, right? Because genes is obviously like saying that sounds problematic, right? Because that any kind of different person you could say has different genes.
It's something called speciesism, which is akin to racism.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's why I want to elaborate on it.
Okay. Elaborate.
Humans, even though they can have different genes, right? We are still all above animals. And the difference between me and a cow.
How are we above that?
I would say, apart from the intelligence thing, our impact on the world is the biggest one, our control over the world.
So we have a lot of control over what happens in society.
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody has lots of control in society, they should not be harmed. But others who don't have control in society, or don't impact it at all, they get to be harmed. Correct?
No, that's not what I said at all. I'm saying humans, our species, our people have the most control over the world as opposed to other animals. I don't know.
Okay,
Are you
so-
denying that? Like, I'm just kind of confused.
So you're saying that if if a person has no impact on society, you shouldn't harm them, or should you harm them? Put them into a gas chamber and make them a cheeseburger.
If they're a human, no. Okay, yeah. If they're a human, no, obviously. And then if they're an animal,
So it's not. So the impact on society they have is not relevant at all. It's just that they're again the species they are, right?
sure, whatever. I get okay, but I'm
Okay, so we're back to speciesism. Yay!
Sure.
We're back to speciesism.
okay. Let's go with that.
So-
Our species, our human species, is above others. How is that not right? How is that incorrect?
Well,
No-
the
oh, not
problem
moral.
here- the problem with resorting to speciesism is now. What if tomorrow we find out that some people on the planet were not the human species? They were a different kind of species than us. Would you put them in a gas chamber, turn them into burgers?
No, because that's never going to happen. All humans are a part of the same species.
Oh,
That's
but what if
unscientific
tomorrow-
completely.
So, but what if tomorrow we found out that some people didn't have the same DNA as you did? They were a different species of human.
Yeah, everybody has different DNA. That's how our
under
people.
your-
That's how our people work. We are all still humans.
They were a different species of human.
That's not. We are all Homo sapiens. That is not how that works.
Well,
You can't.
what if? There have been other species of humans before us, sir.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, what if we found out that some people on this planet were actually not this species? They were a different species, Homo sapiens or something.
Yeah, right, okay.
Under your logic, you would put those people in gas chambers and turn them into burgers because they're a different species.
No, I wouldn't say that. They are still like they are an equal on our level. I guess I would say. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it's not the species, it's the level of what? Intelligence again? Now we're back to square one. See how circular this is?
I mean, I get what you're getting at. I do straight up. But I would say
this is the problem, right? This is the problem. This resorts to something absurd under your view. Whereas under my view, it's way simpler. Yeah, I don't want to harm any animal. Bingo. I don't want to harm anybody. I don't care what species. I don't care how intelligent you are. I don't want to harm you. I don't want to kill you. I want every sentient being to live peacefully. That's it. Isn't that better than just saying, well, species, genes, intelligence.
you brought up genes. Don't be making that voice. You were the first person to say genes. Don't even do that, bro.
No, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just kind of mocking the idea of speciesism, right? It's akin to racism to me.
I get where that idea is coming from, and that speciesism. I honestly have never heard that term before, but you explained it, so I get it. I can see how that is. It can contribute or is akin to racism, but in the terms of humans above, whatever, house cats, plants, bacteria,
Look, I know it's appealing to say that humans are above the others, right? And that's very appealing to say. And I agree that many people have way more value than the animals, right? I am way more valuable than a cow. You are too, right? The problem is that I think sentient beings out there meet the threshold of value, right? We all meet a certain threshold of value, which to me would not warrant killing them at all and extending them rights. Because look, cows, just like dogs, deserve to live, right?
Cows, just like dogs, deserve to live. I mean, yeah, I would say. Well, it kind of depends.
There you go.
They all deserve. So like I'm not a vegan, right? But with that being said, like factory farming and like immoral farming conditions, that kind of thing, I wouldn't agree with.
Now you're being dishonest. Because now your entire argument is, we're different species. Now all of a sudden factory farming is bad. when 2 seconds ago you were literally willing to kill somebody because they're a different species.
I never said I would kill someone because they were a different species.
Yes, you did. You said before that, oh, we're a different species than the cows and pigs, therefore we get to kill them.
Is a cow a someone?
Yes. What are they? If they're
They
not
are
a someone?
something. They are a something.
They're
That's
a
what I would say.
something. You think cows are inanimate objects?
No, that's not what I said. This is what I'm
okay.
saying though. They are below us. They are
Okay,
something. We are someone.
Look
We
up
have
some-
an identity. They don't.
Look up. Well, they do. Look up somebody called Emily. She was a cow in 1998. She was about to be slaughtered, and she was about 1,600 pounds. But just before
That's a lot
she
of
was,
burgers, dude.
just before she was about to be slaughtered, she jumped the gate, and she ran. And the slaughterhouse workers tried to chase after her. She ran faster, and she escaped. It was in Massachusetts. It's a very snowy winter. But she escaped out the police. Everybody was after her. The cops, everybody's after her. But she escaped and she bolted for freedom.
Okay.
And she survived in the wilderness for 40 days. Nobody gave her, well, some people gave her food, but she survived with deer and she was foraging.
Sure.
And somebody rescued her and they put her in a sanctuary. And from that moment, they actually built a statue about her in her city. They built a statue for her, Emily the cow. And it resembled freedom. It resembled somebody's will to survive. So don't tell me that animals aren't somebody. They have a will, they have a want, they have desires just like we do. They have personalities. They want freedom like we do. They're not just objects.
Okay. Yeah. I would say that's more like animalistic. I don't want to be killed than having a personality. Like you said, they have desires. They don't have the same kind of desires that we do. Like I desire to be a mechanic.
What other desire matters than
desire?
What other desire matters than the desire to live?
I mean,
Are you kidding me? That's all that matters, sir. The desire to live and be happy and be free. That's
living
what matters.
is the only quality on earth that
deserve
matters.
that. All animals deserve those rights.
So living is the only quality on life that matters, or in our lives.
Life and to be happy. That's what all animals deserve.
Okay.
Just like all humans deserve that.
And I'm gonna guess that there's no, like in your belief, there's no way for animals to be happy while being, I'm not saying killed, but like farmed, like milked or whatever, right?
Look, I'm not saying it's impossible for animals to be happy when they're being farmed. The problem is that they are going to end up being killed. Their lives are going to end up being short. You're still exploiting them. In principle, you're still viewing an animal as an object that you get to take their milk and take their body parts from. That's the problem, right? Just like slaves. Some slaves are treated nicely, but they're still slaves. In principle, it's wrong to treat somebody as property, even though slave owners used to say, well, I treat them nicely. It's a bad excuse for exploiting somebody.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, I just have one more question because I don't want to. I've taken quite a bit of time. I mean, I think you would agree that it's impossible for tomorrow for all of us to switch over to living vegan. Just there's I don't know if there's enough farms or whatever, all that kind of thing for plants, right? What would you do to switch everybody into veganism?
I don't know what that even means. I don't know if it's possible to switch everybody to veganism tomorrow.
Well, I'm just saying, what would you start? What would you start doing?
I would educate people. It starts with education. That's what changes people. Educate them. Make them understand who the animals are, how the agriculture system works, how food works, how nutrition works. Make them recognize that what they're doing is wrong, that what they're doing doesn't need to happen. That's it. It's not that hard.
Okay. Cool. Appreciate you. Good talk, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, look up Emily the cow. People praised her. Wow, this cow, she resembled something, right? She resembled something more than just a cow, an object to be slaughtered, but she resembled freedom in a way. She resembled somebody who stood up and literally jumped up for freedom, right? That is something profound that even animals can do. Animals who you would typically deem as objects or commodities, there's somebody. It turned them to somebody. And there's plenty of stories like this. I mean, I could give you multiple stories like that. Animals like pigs saving owners' lives. Pigs, pet pigs, saving people, helping people who are drowning, helping people who are literally having a heart attack. Don't tell me that animals don't care or don't have personality. They don't have any of the things that we do.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just have a question for you personally. Have you ever killed like an animal, like any animal? Have you ever killed one?
I have before. Yes, I have before.
Like which one?
I've killed crabs and fish. I've killed probably lots of bugs when I was a kid. What's your point?
So no, my point is like, so what would you do like as of now? What would you do like if you see a lot of roaches in your house? I mean, I'm just asking that question. Like,
Roaches? Okay. If I
would you
saw a
kill them?
roach in my house, I wouldn't go, oh my God, roach, smash. What I would do is think first. I would go, wait a minute, is this roach a threat? Let me see.
Okay.
If it's not a threat, I put him in a cup, throw him outside. If I see an infestation of roaches, what I would do is say, what's the best way to get rid of these roaches without killing them all first, right? Can I do something? Is there something in my house that's wrong? The next step is to go, okay, there's more roaches. I can't stop it. Maybe we'd have to look into extermination, right? So do you see how I went through 3 different stages before I just went, kill, right? Part of veganism is about being compassionate wherever you can. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never killing anybody, never killing a fish. It's about doing the best you can. That's it. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. So I was just curious about that. So that's why I called. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm up. So I have someone here that wants to debate. I'm not.
You're their spokesperson?
He doesn't follow, so
You're
my
their
account. He wants to debate on my account, so here, Dad. Actually, never mind. He doesn't want to debate right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He just said no.
I don't want to debate.
Sorry
I don't
about
want to
that.
debate either. I don't want to debate either. How about that? Tell your manager
Okay.
that I don't want to debate him. Okay. Right to the next victim here. I'm eating a burger right now. Well, I'll be eating your mom later tonight. Don't worry. I got you. All right, guys. I think I'm just do some Q&A now. Let's see here. All right. Hey, Mike, are you a libertarian? No, I don't work in a library. No, just kidding. No, I'm not a libertarian. No, I'm definitely more of a definitely aligned with Democratic left. Now, don't get me wrong. I do disagree with some of Kamala's policies, but Trump is worse, way worse, and his policies are so much shittier. Ciara is one of my favorite debaters. How about me? Come on. No, just kidding. Yeah. No, she's really good. John 3:16. How about Dr. Seuss 5:19? I do not like green eggs and ham, Sam I am. That's a great verse, guys. Go check that out. But yeah, Trump is going to be bad for the environment. And one of the biggest problems people don't really understand today is climate change. It's one of the biggest problems. People they overlook it. Like, oh, it's not going to affect us for 50 years. No, it's affecting us today, and it needs urgent attention. We need to invest more in solar and wind and geothermal. That's what we should be doing more of. But under Trump, that's all going to go away. So. If Trump supported veganism, would you vote for him? No, I'm never going to vote for Trump. I think he's a disgusting person. He's a criminal, literally a criminal. I'll never vote for a criminal. Climate change is real. We'll get over it. What about the materials to make solar? What do you mean? What about them? They're recyclable. Solar panels are recyclable. What about vegans who are for Trump? Okay, I don't care who you vote for. I just don't like Trump, right? I think if you're voting for Trump, I think you're wrong, but it doesn't mean that I can't like you as a person, right? People today are so polarized. Oh, if this person likes Trump, he's a demon. No, that's not how this works. People will always disagree with you, right? It doesn't mean they're a demon. I get along with many Trump supporters. Half my fucking family's a Trump supporter. Not my immediate family. Half of my relatives are fucking Trump supporters. I still love them. I'm not going to hate somebody because they support Trump. However, I don't like Trump, right? That's a different story. But this goes for both sides. A lot of people demonize Kamala, but also a lot of people demonize Trump. Yes, he's a bad person, but he's not Satan, right? He's not the devil. Just like Kamala, people demonize her. Oh, she's terrible. She's communist. She's just a person. Trump shits, he farts, he smells. Just like Kamala, they both shit and fart in the same toilet. Like, they're all people. It's just that, we have disagreements. You should run for president. Nah, it's a very tough job. It's a very tough job to handle. It really is. And that goes for even when Trump was president. I give him props for being president. That's pretty tough to do and to handle. But he just did a terrible job at it, okay? He just did a bad job. I wouldn't be president for many reasons. I don't like politics. I don't like dealing with all that crap. You also don't have too much power if you don't have the Senate with you, if you don't have the other branches of government with you. There's not much you can do, There's not much you can do as president, frankly. I think that there's way better avenues to make change happen, even more than the president. If you had to live somewhere with stable income, where would you live? I don't know. I haven't been anywhere outside of America, so I couldn't tell you. But I don't know. What is your biggest concern right now? Oh my gosh. Biggest concern? People. social media and the susceptibility that how susceptible people are to misinformation and being convinced of it and being gullible online. That's what scares me. People don't think anymore when they go online. People think that we've been so accustomed to social media being this place where you send cat memes and stuff that nobody takes it seriously. And because of that, people are willing to spread misinformation. And on top of that, they don't know how to counter it. They don't know how to determine what's true or false online. That's the problem, I think, because the internet today is so powerful. Look, we have way more power today than ever before in history, right? Anybody with a phone has way more power than any time in history. So it's more important than ever that we make sure what we see online is accurate. And I'm seeing a trajectory downwards of people misunderstanding things, spreading misinformation. And I'm also seeing a lack of people willing to counter this nonsense. So it's a big concern for me. Kamala lying about everything. What is she lying about? See, this is another problem with people. Conservatives especially, they'll say, well, Kamala's lying. And when you invoke the word lie, you're implying that there's some intention, that she's intentionally saying false statements. No. You're mistaking a lie with an inaccuracy. But you don't see that because you don't understand that people can make false statements and be inaccurate. You think that whatever somebody says, you hold authority figures so high in the totem pole that you think that whatever they say either is a lie or truth. That's dangerous. It's not either a lie or a truth. There's also falsehoods or mistakes or inaccuracies too. But yes, by the way, Trump actually has been proven to lie. The election was stolen, but yet he's been online. He's been shown many times that he doesn't think the election's been stolen, or we did more for black unemployment when the numbers show that Obama did that. The best economy. Numbers disagree with that. Okay. What are your favorite video games? I don't play games, honestly. Is there an inherent meaning to human existence? I don't think so, but that's irrelevant to me. It's not relevant to ask that question. What's my meaning? That's so primitive. That's such an elementary question to me. The better question to ask is, how do we make meaning? How do we generate meaning? How can we make this meaningful? That's the better question. So you don't think you might be inaccurate? Oh, of course I could be inaccurate. But the difference between me and other people is that I research and I'm willing to say I'm wrong, and I change and I adapt and I improve. The other people don't improve. Most people don't care. They're lazy. Whereas me, I'm constantly questioning the things I say and do, and I'm constantly correcting myself and learning and improving. And more fundamentally, people have devalued truth. It's not just that people like to spread misinformation. It's that fundamentally they have devalued truth so much that people are more willing to act like they're truthful than be it. And that's because we've lost track of the scientific method. We're not disciplined scientifically, right? Because when you're disciplined scientifically, you appreciate the truth way much more. It becomes way more valuable to you because it's hard to come by. Whereas when you're somebody, spreading misinformation, you think it's just a game. And you've, in that process, devalued the truth. Whereas somebody scientific really cherishes the truth and is careful with it and is careful with what they do and say. So we've lost that fundamentally. This is a very, very big concern to me. But I could be biased here. Maybe it's the case that I am wrong, and maybe it's the case that. But the numbers, I look at the numbers, I see lots of people leaving science, leaving STEM jobs. They're decreasing. PhDs are decreasing. We're losing innovation in America. We're losing to China a lot of jobs, a lot of innovation. There's only a handful of companies in America that are really responsible for the major innovations happening. We're not going to space much at all anymore. We're not talking about climate change at all. I don't even see Kamala talking about climate change much. I mean, sure, she says it here and there, but that should be a big center of the talk. Yet, it's like it never doesn't exist anymore. It's like it's just evaporated from social discourse. It's just, nobody talks about it. It's the biggest problem. These are concerns I have. Does any of the money we pay taxes go to science? Well, yeah, absolutely it does. But a lot of the science in America is for the military. Unfortunately, a lot of the budget is distributed to the military and weapons innovation, right? Bombs and planes and guns. NASA only gets about $20 billion a year. And that pays for everything we have today, currently, and there's very little room in their budget, in NASA's budget, for innovation. Because most of that budget is being stretched so far as it is. I mean, they have to pay for the telescopes, all the satellites, and all the spacecraft, and all the shuttles, and all the things. I mean, they're keeping all this equipment up and running. I mean, that takes money. So that $20 billion doesn't go as far as it used to go. So I see a world, I see a country that is devaluing science and innovation, and that's just a sign of a country who's about to fail. And that's not very happy. It's not a very good thing. And by the way, NASA gets only 20. The military gets $900 billion. $900 billion a year. The military gets. If only we just took 20 billion extra, put it to NASA. I mean, we imagine doubling the budget in NASA, and you'd have way more telescopes. We'd be on Mars right now. We'd be on Mars if we had an extra 20 billion. We'd be on Mars. We'd be on the moon. We'd have all kinds of spacecraft. We'd probably have all kinds of things. But we've stopped dreaming. We've stopped caring for science. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying we're, failing now. I mean, of course, America is still at the top of technology and things, but how long is this sustainable for? I mean, how long is this going to be sustained until we lose the race? Do you know how much 1 trillion is? What do you guys say? what are your thoughts on the simulation? I don't think simulation's true. Do you know how much 1 trillion is? Do you think civilization will destroy itself? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's possible, but I think that it's very hard to destroy the civilization. There's just so many of us, and there's so many ways we can survive. So. However, with climate change happening, it's going to be a different world. It's going to be a different way of life in the future. Heat waves are going to be so common. Many places on the planet are going to be uninhabitable, like the Middle East. There are going to be places on the planet that you just can't live in, especially in California and in the West. Australia. I mean, look at the amount of heat waves that are increasing. Look at the flooding. Right? A lot of islands are going to be inundated with floodwaters. They're not going to be able to survive there. Okay, we're talking not 100 years from now. We're talking within 15, 20 years. And it's already happening today. This is already happening. Climate change is happening today. The effects are happening now. What's happening is they're going to get increasingly more impactful. And it's not going to be in the good direction. It's going to be in the bad direction. It's going to be... We're not going to die, but the world, that's the worst part about it. People think, oh, we're not going to die. Well, yeah, but that's the worst part of climate change, that we're not going to die because it's going to be worse to live here on this planet. Yeah, climate refugees, exactly. We're going to have tons of climate refugees, people in all kinds of countries trying to get out and trying to get into other countries like Europe. Europe is going to be a big place where people go. America, other countries that, bordering countries. They're going to be inundated by climate refugees. And who's going to pay for that? All these resources, all that. It's going to be very, very... You think things are bad today. I mean, Also, more pandemics. Pandemics are easier to spread when the world is warmer. People don't realize this, but eating animals also spreads disease. So now those will spread faster. The permafrost melting, that's going to cause even more disease to come up from the ground. There's viruses underneath the ice in the Arctic. There's viruses and bacteria just waiting to be unlocked. They're melting at fast rates, right? The ice caps, the glaciers are melting. This causes lakes to become empty. Aquifers are going to see saltwater intrusion. They're not going to be able to drink fresh water. Water is going to become the next gold, right? It's going to be so precious because it's going to be rare. Fresh drinking water is going to become rarer and rarer. Billions of people, it's going to be possible that billions of people are not going to have fresh water because of saltwater intrusion and the fact that glaciers are melting and lakes are drying up and the ice caps are melting. All that is so integral for aquifers and lakes and rivers, and you don't have those things. We don't drink water. How about the plastic issue? I mean, there's like country-sized collections of plastic in the ocean. That's crazy. Microplastics are in all of our food, all of our water. There is no such thing as fresh water anymore. If you're concerned about microplastics, they're in everything. They're in our bodies now. Now everybody has it in their bodies. You can't escape it. How about crop yields? They're going to decrease as CO2 rises, temperatures increase, precipitation changes, less crop fields. Farmers are not going to be able to produce crops. It doesn't take much to dismantle that because 10-20% decrease in crop yields, what farmer is going to make any more crops if they can't make any money from these crops? So it won't be even worth the effort to farm anymore. And now, okay, well, starvation, yay, these are things that people don't comprehend, right? People think it's, global warming, no big deal, it's happened before. Sure, but today we are so dependent on this particular, climate. And if it changes anymore, it's going to become unstable for us. We can't survive in this atmosphere. Because we depend on it so closely. People don't grasp that. People don't grasp the fact that heat waves aren't just, just go inside, get air conditioning. It's, you can't go outside or you'll die, or you can't work because you go outside, you'll get heat stroke immediately. This is serious. There's so many ripple effects that the average person doesn't have the ability to understand. Not because they're dumb, but because they're not willing to understand this. And it all comes back to the fact that we have lost track of science. Because look, the problems are getting more complex. As we move forward through time, the problems, they're building up, they're becoming more complicated. The problems are just going to get worse and worse. I mean, the problems are going to get more complicated as we go on. So we need to become more complicated to fix them, right? If we live in a world where people don't understand the problems, how are we going to solve them? If we don't even understand climate change, how the fuck are we going to solve it, So, yeah, that's my concern. That's my concern. And that's, one of the reasons why I do these things, because even though science illuminates lots of problems, it also illuminates lots of solutions, right? So as much as this is doom and gloom to people, well, there's lots of solutions that come about when you understand science too. There's a good side to understanding the issues. You understand the solutions, right? So, that's why science is important more than ever. And that's why I advocate for it. That's why I advocate for these discussions. I'm deeply concerned. The funny thing is, I don't even care about God. I don't think about God. Outside of these lives, I don't think about this. It's just that a lot of people, unfortunately, are so tethered to this belief in God that it clouds their thinking. So they can't see the problems. They can't see the solutions at all. It's so phased and it's so foggy for them. They think their mind's clouded by, this belief in God. They can't see anything else but God. That's the problem. The solution is simple, though. It's not difficult, right? The solution is very simple. Education. Science. Think in a disciplined manner, right? Scientifically. That's all it takes is some questioning. All it takes is some thinking, and all it takes is I'm not saying everybody become a scientist, but at least become literate in science, literate in what these things mean, and the world would become a better place. I mean, just imagine how much better the world would be, if everybody understood these issues and collectively worked together to solve these. I mean, then we have lots of people on this planet. We could all work together, but we instead decide to go online and Twitter and go, oh, Trump bad, Kamala bad. The solution's right there, right? It's just a matter of getting there. It's not that hard, It's not rocket science. It's not. No pun intended. It feels better to be ignorant. At first it might, but not in the long run. Okay, yeah, sure, at first it might feel, oh, it's better to be ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, right? That saying. But I would never trade what I know and how I think with ignorance. Because again, with knowledge comes knowledge of yes, the problems, but also the solutions. There's an optimism that emerges when you think scientifically. There's a very deep optimism that emerges that you just can't get when you're ignorant. And that's why I'll never trade it for ignorance. I'd rather be the way I am than some... And people who are ignorant can't even see this. They can't, So... I'm still very optimistic about the world. Especially with AI, artificial intelligence, which isn't emotional, which by its very nature thinks scientifically. That's the future. Do you think we can use AI to communicate with other animals? That's actually a great question. Yes, I do. I think that if AI could interpret patterns in animal behavior, I think that we could develop a model that would be able to kind of understand what they're trying to tell us and translate that into English. Perhaps in the future you'll be able to maybe even talking to animals by inserting a chip that translates their thoughts into something you can comprehend as a person. Imagine that. Imagine being able to talk to an animal in English. Not that the animal understands English, but the point is that the animal has certain thoughts that might translate into something like English. That is possible, I think. Yeah, that Hawk-Tuah girl. That's what we're seeing today. That's what gets the most attention, right? The algorithms, another problem with social media is that the algorithms promote this kind of nonsense because people just click. Aha, funny. People just want entertainment, and that has configured social media to be a place where you just see things that make you laugh, that give you 10 seconds of entertainment. And everything else that takes time, all that stuff about climate change, boring, right? Everything scientific, boring. It's not boring. But what people think it's boring because they're put into a system where you're taught science is boring, right? So again, we have this cycle of chaos where you have people who don't understand science being the ones controlling the algorithms, and the ones who understand the science, they get devalued, they get silenced, they get not silenced, but they get their voice is diminished. It's not as potent as the people who say, "Oh, Haktua, haha, that's so funny, haha." It's a tragic exploitation of the human emotion. So again, the solution to that is simple. Because when I look at that video, I swipe away. I don't pay attention, right? So imagine if everybody did that. Imagine if we lived in a world where every person went online with a scientific mindset and they swiped away from those videos. They wouldn't have that popularity. They wouldn't get that kind of fame. By the way, she's a millionaire now for that video. I hope you guys understand that. I hope you guys understand that she is a millionaire right now. She's been offered all kinds of things and jobs and stuff. I guarantee that. So just imagine if we lived in a world where people went online and weren't. I'm not jealous. No, that's great. It's a great success. But look, the problem is that doesn't promote a better world. Yeah, maybe her life is better, but it doesn't promote a better world for all of us. It promotes a world where people, it's an economy where people, whoever is funniest or whoever makes the most people giggle wins. That's not how society should be run. It should be run based on who makes the most innovation, who does the most in terms of making the world a better place, solving problems, not who says Haktua the most. That's the point, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't look at those videos. I'm not saying, oh, don't look at this. But just imagine if we had more people interested in science than, some Haktua person. I think the world would be a better place, a way better place. So that's all I'm saying, guys. I'm not here to say, oh, I'm better than all you guys are bad. What I'm saying is all of us can do a bit better, including me, to do better.